As the saying goes, it does not matter who we are. What matters is our plan. That's what matters sometimes. You can tell when you have an antagonist who does not think of themselves when it comes to their goal. They don't care if they live or die, as long as their ideal and their goal is met. That's all they care about. So you gather people with the same mind with you to do that. Question is how far are they willing to have their resolve to stay with you to the very, very end of it? Now you see the family is wiping the floor with these antagonists. You see Shinzo's fight went by pretty fast because he's really good. He's not the part of guy who has problem with defeating someone. He's afraid of how far he will go. He has to constantly check in on his powers, see whether or not he is still in control of them. He is afraid of people getting hurt and him hurting people. He's also afraid of weapons. He knows the dangers of weapons. That's why he spent his entire life being around them. Not because he really loves them, because he's afraid of them. And he wants to conquer his fear of them by knowing everything about weapons. A nice little character development we got from him. Well, realization, anyways, of it. Him always means the weapons, him being around the weapons. He knows better than anyone how dangerous these things can be. But at the same time, he can also use them to protect other people as well. He just has to use them with care as responsibility. That word a lot of people seem to forget about. Responsibility. Accountability. Just saying, okay? So yeah, his fight was over with, and he even manages not to kill the person. However, that did not matter, because Kawashita, he always has a backup fail-safe if things don't go the way he wants to. And that is an automatic self-destruction implants on some of the test subjects and samples, having them all just blow up. Just blow up. He doesn't care. He's willing to destroy the entire facility and bring it down for his goals to be met. He's going to take down everybody, man. He don't care about who it is or what it is. What matters is the plan, as that saying goes. It is the spread that Hazakura stuff into the ocean, where it will take some time, but sooner or later it will spread to the main shores and it will affect people. Then the process of elimination may begin. The natural order where the strongest will survive. Lead me to heaven when we'll die. Thumbs up if you know where that's from. It's kind of like what Wesker had with Ouroboros, but his was airborne, while theirs is going to be seaborne. It'll be going to sea, into the waters and stuff, and it'll cause you to mutate, and only a certain few will be able to be part of the natural selection. The rest will go to waste, as it is, And I guess that's his goal. Was he truly after what caused his madness? We'll probably find out sooner or later. We're almost done. We got 3 episodes left of this series. So yeah, waiting to see how this ends. With that being said, there's also with the other bad guys. Like, I'll use that one Ice Boy's name, Ryu, and there's Cha-Cha. Ryu and Cha-Cha are left. And Ryu's ice powers are very ironic, which I do like. He's a dude who was always being cold, and he lived out in poverty with his old lady. And the old lady gave him her jacket so he can stay alive, but she died in the process. So he felt guilt, and his guilt is frozen guilt. I like that. Frozen guilt is his power. Really nice. He needs to melt away from his guilt so he can feel warm again. So you feel like he is no longer tied down to the past that freezes him from moving forward. I really like that analogy. It's really good. It's really good. I enjoy it. Now, with Cha-Cha, he does the thing that Shion goes through. And what Shion goes through is, I have this with one of my sisters. They always think, as that saying goes in that book, Power, you always gotta think you're the smartest motherfucker in the room. But when you're not. There's always those people, whenever you go in a group, they always think they're the smartest person in the room. But even when they are, doesn't mean they're always right. Like, You can do a full research on something, keeping tabs up on a subject, know everything about it, tell them about it, and they think that you're wrong because they can't believe it. They think you're wrong, and this is it without even doing research themselves, but they think they're right about it. Either way, it's like you don't know how much this gets to me. You don't know because it happens a lot, man. Where you can even be on the same job, but you've been in longer. You know how things go. And you're trying to tell them how things go, and they don't believe you. That's the right way to do it. You know you've been doing it longer than them. It's so frustrating. My God. So you have these characters like Cha-Cha and Shion, where they have a blend of genius, and people treat them like outsiders because of their genius. But they do the same thing where they look down on everybody else as well. You're all looking down on each other at the end of the day. He'll reject it because his brain was going the ways and probably his appearance as well. So as usual, Kawashita comes in and just takes advantage of him. Then you have someone like Shion who is with a family that cares about her, but she kept distance from herself because she didn't think they understand her. So she started doing things on her own instead, still caring for the family. So once again, these two are alike. You know, it's that thing that even Hero Academia does well as well. And it's where anyone could have been a good guy or a bad guy, determined on their surroundings. Just like with Naruto. You know, where in Naruto, Sasuke should have been the hero of the story, and Naruto should have been the villain. But instead, Sasuke was, in a way, the villain, and Naruto was the hero. You know, their lives should have been different, but things turned out. Sasuke left for pursuit of power, and Naruto stayed behind to protect the ones he loves. Um, Even in Hero Academia, you know, you have a good society of people, but then there's always going to be those who will slip through the fingers of society, or they're rejected through society. And either way, they have no one to help them until they're helped by somebody else with evil intentions. That's how it usually is sometimes. And you see with this group here with Tampopo are people who are left forgotten or discarded through life, you know, whether because they're homeless, they're done injustice, they were abandoned, either way, or they're on the brink of death. But they had no one there to help them but Tampopo. So they joined this side that they could see. Compared to our good guys who always had the family, who always had people look after them, make sure they're well natured. And at the end of this day, when it comes to morality of all this, is help out others, to show kindness when you can with others. You'll never know when it can go a long way for people. You know, the world may seem ugly, but it doesn't mean you have to add on to it itself. I know it's hard, easier said than done, because you know you're always going to have people who are just going to do mean things, you know. But at the end of the day, you got to do right. You know, it's funny, I'm just giving you guys a lecture here, but it just goes so much with the story itself, the characters, you know. The characters could have been different if they had better people looking after them at the end of the day. If they gave Cha-Cha a chance to show his genius, do things right. If people were there for the injustice of that one girl with the fire power. Or how Ryu had only that one lady there, and he felt guilty. But if he had someone to tell him that to help him move on in the first place, he wouldn't be in this situation. But yet here we are. You know, no one was there for them. It happens for a lot of villains now these days. They just have that rough upbringing. I'm not saying all villains are like that, but there's most of them who are. And I do understand that. I really do. You know, you have two characters that are very much alike, but they were raised differently. You know, one had no one and one had a whole family. And because of that, they were on opposite sides of each other. So there goes that. So altogether, yeah, with the great episode, we can see more insight with not just the villains, but also with the other family members, like Shinzo, Kango, and also Shion. You know, we get to see what they're going through, their mindsets of how they perceive things, how they point out their own flaws, even showing off their bloomings as well. We get to see that, so I like that. So that's what the name of this chapter is Frozen Guilt. You know, you gotta let that go. I like this saying, Frozen Guilt. It's nice. But anyways, as I got for the video, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, and of course, hit that bell icon. So, the background, I'm anime. Signing out.